Alright, welcome to another video from Full Injected. Hey, this video is going to be on how to play Warhammer Fantasy and just some other thoughts and stuff. A lot of you 40K guys make a natural transition into Fantasy, and I thought I'd just do a video. Fantasy in our area is trying to make a little comeback. It had died off I don't know, a year or so ago, but there's a bunch of new players and I just thought I'd do some videos for them and for you guys too. Alright, there's more. We're going to talk about the start of the turn phase that Fantasy has. This is basically where you do your psychology tests for fear and terror and anything else that may be outlined in your rule book. Also, this is where you attempt to rally your troops that may be fleeing. Alright, moving on. The next phase is the movement phase. In my opinion, the movement phase is the biggest phase in the whole game. It's more important, in my opinion, than the shooting phase, the magic phase, and the close combat phase. I will detail some of the reasons why I believe this later in the video. Okay, talking about movement. Let's movement, for the most part, you have guys on foot, such as these old Saurus warriors here. These guys, these are your typical foot soldiers in the game. Notice the square bases they rank up. You have to have 5 of them. 5 of them are considered a rank. The way these guys move is you measure from the front corner. They can only move to the front. So if I was going to want to move these guys, let's see if you can see my little laser. They can move, see that corner and this corner. They can move straight or they can pivot at those corners, which is called wheeling. Wheeling is different. In 40K, everybody has a 360-degree view. That's not the case in Fantasy. They only see, models that are ranked up like this only see the 90-degree arc to their front. Okay, movement in this game ranges from 3 inches, which is dwarves, they're the slowest in the game, to lots of infantry, human infantry such as Bretonnian and Empire. Their foot guys have a movement of 4, just like these Saurus warriors have a movement of 4. Chaos warriors have a movement of 4. And what does that mean? That means that they can move 4 inches on your turn. We'll get into marching in a little bit later. Elves typically move 5. Some of them move 6. Ogres have a lot of 6s. Some skinks move 6. Once you get into the movement rate of 7 and higher, that's typically your cavalry guys. Heavy cav, a lot of them, such as Empire, move 7 inches with their barding. Most horses have a movement of 8, but when you put barding on, that takes 1 off, so they move 7. Elf horses are faster. They have a movement of 9, but again with barding they move 8. And there's some demon Slaneshi stuff that has a movement of 10, which is incredibly fast. Okay, continuing on with movement, you also have flyers. Most flyers in the game move 20 inches. There are some that move less. The only, I guess, an example would be Fellbats move 20. Pegasus Knights move 20. The only thing I know that moves less than that when they fly is the Bat Swarms. I think they move 10. So 20 inches, and that's pretty quick. Next thing we're going to talk about is marching. Okay, marching is where a model moves twice its listed movement rate. The only caveat to that is if there is an enemy model within 8 inches, then you may not march unless you're dwarves, and then that's a special rule called Relentless. If you're a dwarf player, please refer to your rule book. But anyways, let's take a little look at what marching lets you do and what it doesn't. Alright, here's our Saurus warriors. As you can see, they're going to move forward 4 inches. Alright, the unit of Saurus on the left, this would be their starting position. This is if they moved 4 inches straight. Now we were talking about marching. Okay, with marching, as you can see, these guys have moved 8, which is substantial compared to its starting location. Well, not, 4 is normal movement. Elves, whether it's dark, high, or wood elves, like I said, 5s. They're faster. Skaven, also lots of 5s and 6s in theirs. Okay, this is just a straight move, pretty straightforward. We'll talk about wheeling next. Alright, we're going to talk about wheeling. These Saurus warriors, they want to charge these high elf spearmen. High elf bowmen. Well, they can't charge them. Well, actually, they could, because their front arc, do you see my laser? Let's see if I can get this on the video. My laser, they're in their front arc. Well, if these guys move just straight, then you can see with the laser level, my laser pointer, that they could not charge the high elves because, they're not directly in front of them. So the next move we have is what's called a wheel. Alright, sorry guys, I had to change the batteries. So for these Saurus warriors to charge the dastardly high elves, let me move my kitty food out of the way. You guys don't really want to see that. Over there, they have to wheel. Because as I was pointing out with my laser pointer, they're not directly in front of them. So to wheel, this is how you do it. You measure from the farthest axis, which would be over here because you're wanting to wheel this way. You do not measure from this axis. You measure for the one that's going to go the farthest. So, for the Saurus warriors to charge, the way this works is you would move, let's just say we're going to move them 2 inches. This guy pivot. This guy pivots. Hold on, let me get a movement track. Alright, so these Saurus warriors are going to attempt to charge the high elves. Okay, first thing you do is you will measure from this axis, so that right there would be a pivot of 1 inch. Might want to go one more. 2 inches. Okay. One thing to note when measuring, is you measure from the base. Okay. The movement tray. Notice this edging. This is 1/8 inch. They can come all shapes and sizes, but you always measure from the model's base, not the moving tray, because it makes a difference in this game. If you fail to charge or make it, then guess what? That's a huge mistake. Okay, so these guys have moved 2 inches. We now believe that they have line of sight to those dastardly high elves, which, hold on.